All right, Garlin Gilchrist, Lieutenant Governor of Michigan, thanks for joining us on Hill TV.
I'm really happy to be here, Jamal. Thank you.
It's good to see you. This is a big week in Detroit. You got big debates happening. Candidates, 20 of the candidates who are running for president are going to be here both tonight on the stage at the Fox and tomorrow night. Michigan's important. How are you and the governor thinking about this race?
Well, first of all, this is an amazing opportunity to put the issues that are important to the people of Michigan on the front burner for Democratic politics, because all these candidates, I think, understand how important the state of Michigan is to their electoral future and to us taking back the White House. So the governor and I have really tried to roll out the red carpet. We've submitted a primer on issues happening in Michigan to every campaign, so they just had a good sense of what was going on, that has information about infrastructure, what's happening with the legislature, what's happening in Flint, all these important issues that people hear about nationally but may not have local context. We want to make sure they have the information they need. And then we want to make sure that they are coming and connecting with Michigan communities and voters and constituencies. So we're excited to see how different candidates are spending their time while they're here, and we hope that this is just one visit. Everyone's going to need to come back and spend a lot more time, because if you learn how to connect with voters in Michigan, you're going to be able to win the election.
Now, have you or the governor endorsed any candidates?
We have not endorsed any candidates. We're not in the endorsement business, we're in the enabling business. We want to make sure that we are enabling candidates to reach as many voters as possible, because we want to build on the historic voter turnout that we were able to earn in 2018. More people voted in the 2018 gubernatorial election than have voted in an off-year election in the last 50 years. We can build on that coming into this presidential, the most important presidential election really of our lifetimes, to make sure that Michigan really shows out, really stands tall.
All right, so in 2016, Donald Trump won Michigan by about
10,500 votes.
10,500 votes, give or take.
Yes.
Right? But then you look at some of the numbers about what happened in places like Detroit, where some would argue Detroit was missing maybe about 50,000 votes who should have voted last time, or statewide, I think it may have been more than that. How do you make sure that the people in the city of Detroit actually show up in this election and don't stay home?
Well, people vote for candidates who they know will show up for them. And so in order to engage voters at the right level, you have to be there and have to be present. That's why it's such a big opportunity for this debate to be here in Detroit. I want to hear candidates speaking to the issues of Detroit and Michigan voters. And if they do that, and if they continue to come back here and engage with people, then voters will be willing to show up for someone who shows up for them. And so yes, we can make up that 10,000 vote gap in Detroit, and we certainly can make up that vote gap across the state of Michigan, but that only happens if the party apparatus, if the candidates say that we're going to make mobilizing a priority, organizing a priority, volunteering a priority. I'm proud that our party apparatus has really stepped up and tried to build on that 2018 momentum. We have this great program called Organizing Corps. We're recruiting new and young organizers in every part of the state, in all 83 counties, making sure that people are engaged in the political process. If we're doing those types of things, then we're absolutely going to win in Michigan.
So the governor here was one of 4 Democratic women across the country in 2018 who win governor's mansions. Does that say to you that there is something powerful about having women candidates this year going into these elections?
I think that it's important that we have candidates that reflect the diversity and the complete abilities of our entire community. And so in Michigan, we actually can take it a step further than that. Not only did Gretchen Whitmer win our governor's seat, but Attorney General Dana Nessel is the first openly gay statewide elected official in the history of the state of Michigan, a woman. Our Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson. We had women win across the board in executive offices here in Michigan. So there has been and there will continue to be power in women who are just amazing and intelligent and capable and strong and are speaking to the issues that matter to voters. That's what we saw here, and I think that lesson applies at the national level as well.
And then there's the lieutenant governor slot. And one thing that's interesting to me is you're not alone. Mandela Barnes in Wisconsin. I mean, there are lieutenant governors, African-American lieutenant governors now in 5 or 6 states across the country.
Yes.
So what's happening in terms of this statewide appeal for African Americans who are running in these states?
Well, first of all, it is very encouraging to have some of my colleagues. You have people like Sheila Oliver in New Jersey, Juliana Stratton in Illinois, and yes, Mandela in Wisconsin, and myself. All of us have also the distinction of being the first black lieutenant governors in our respective states. And what that means is people respond to candidates, I think, who are reflective of their community and who are willing to speak to their issues. So I think all of us tried to run campaigns and tried to run with our running mates respectively and tell our stories and speak our truth, but also let them know there are issues that we cared about, whether it is infrastructure and broadband connectivity, transit and transportation, forming our system of criminal justice, enabling entrepreneurship, and just making sure that we have a strong and positive and asset-based urban agenda for life in states like Michigan. I think when we're doing that, voters respond to people who show up for them.
Great. Well, we have these big debates tonight and tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens on the stage.
I'm excited to be there. I've never been to a presidential debate, either in a primary or general, so it's a really great opportunity to experience this. And I really hope that the candidates understand just how important Michigan is and that their trip here is not their last trip.
Well, you just said that. It just sparks to me that you got somebody who's lieutenant governor, the number 2 person in the state, who's never been to a big presidential debate before.
Yeah.
That says something about new blood in the Democratic Party.
Well, I agree with that. I think it's encouraging, but it also, I think, speaks to the fact that sometimes these processes are not as accessible as they should be. I think any voter should have access to a candidate. Any voter should be able to participate in a debate exercise because it is an important conversation, and voters are ultimately the people who make those choices. So we need to do more to open up these spaces to more people. And so I'm glad that it is here in Detroit for people to participate in.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos. And head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.